Hello, hello, hello. I'm Karen Creighton, in case you don't know, and this is the lovely Melissa Wright, and we are going to be discussing today um, Melissa's workshop. And Melissa's workshop is going to be in Food and Frequencies Network on the 20th of January, so not long now. And so I'm just going to get Melissa to tell us a little bit about her before we go into the workshop. So, Melissa, I know you're very passionate about inner gardening. So, I'd love for you to just share a little bit about your interpretation of or what you do for inner gardening.
Thank you, Karen. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's a pleasure to have the opportunity to support the Food and Frequencies family in within something that I'm really passionate about. Inner gardening has been a journey that I have been on for 3 or 4 years now, so really still a baby in the scheme of things. We know there's some members that have been sort of holding the fort and doing the inner gardening. I prefer to call it, I want to say then inner work, which is a lot of how it is referred to. But I feel like work is very clunky and it makes it sound really hard. Yes, sometimes it can be. But I just feel more inspired to call it inner gardening. I and very much believe that we are part of nature, and I work in a herb nursery, a full nursery. I used to work at a herb nursery, 4 days a week, as well as having my Line Frequencies business. And so, yeah, and gardening is something that I believe is part of, I weave into my daily rituals. And so each day, I think that I have learnt by, embodying this myself, that if you carve out time to have a look within, and for the sake of metaphors, tend to the soil and plant the seeds and water the seeds and shine light on the seeds, and that becomes a garden. And then you tend to your garden, and sometimes things will get a little bit out of balance. I don't really like to call them weeds as such, because they are all, everybody has uses and all plants have uses. Um, they become a weed technically in my understanding when it's out of balance. And so that's where very much where I resonate with what you're creating with the Food and Frequencies network, because I believe that when we come into alignment within ourselves, then that's when we're actually going to enjoy life and get the most out of being here and being alive.
Yeah.
And so the inner gardening rituals for me personally evolve and they change every day. I always like to follow my heart. They started with an invitation just to actually sit quietly and be with myself for 5 or 10 minutes each day from the moment I wake up. This develops a foundation of inner trust and love. And so this really, I'm very passionate about the gene keys, and it boils back down to humanity having a fear of survival. But in the West, we have not, we're not going to starve, we've got everything we need at hand. And so that fear transposes into a fear of not being worthy or a fear of not being enough. And so when you become your inner authority by spending time with yourself and authoring your own reality, quieting the inner critic, or the audience, some people call it. And then I was invited to do release writing, which is a form of journaling. And so release writing is just really just writing for a certain amount of time, until you feel like you've got everything out of your mind, because we can get very heady,
Mm.
and it helps you ground into your body and be present in the moment, because a
Yeah.
lot of our fears come from the future, or our anxieties from past, analyzing the past. And so we can actually allow that flow for the information to come out of our minds and onto the paper. And this is why I really love journaling, because I personally, everybody is different, and I always encourage, to follow your inner guidance. I like to use journaling for connection and creativeness, not as much releasing. And so there's other things to do, a little bit of breath work. You can do yoga. I've got a little selection of oracle cards. So it's a beautiful tool to be able to reflect back to you.
No.
And without overthinking things, you can receive the guidance from whatever lands in that channel, or downloads from the words that you're reading on the oracle card.
Mm.
Um, I love the working with the elements. I will always light a candle on my. I'm like a gardening geek now, because I actually have an altar where I have things to represent all the elements, fire, air, earth, and water. And so there's the crystals, as well as I went on a little trip actually to the West Coast, and we stopped over. I like to just follow what comes along the way. And there was ostriches in the paddock, and I hopped out of the van and went and spoke to this ostrich, and it came over, and then it just preened in its feathers, and off this feather goes, and it went off and away. And I was thinking, oh no, I would have loved that feather. And it come all the way back to me and landed just in front of me. And so, that things like that represents the air on my altar from my I've got a
Nice.
little
Oh, what
jar of
fun.
water
Yeah.
because I really love, as you know, uh I'm super passionate about raising the vibration, or
Mm.
contributing to raising the vibration of the waters on Mother Earth, including our bodies of water. So I've got a little beautiful little vase with water in, and often I'll have fresh flowers, and just
So
commune with myself.
nice. So anyone who did our parasite cleanse later last year will know Melissa from her sharing on, and she was our genius biofeedback practitioner for that. And so she shared quite a bit. So if you wanted to go back and have a look at the videos for that, then you'll find them in the Facebook group. So where Melissa shares another part of her genius. Yeah, pardon the pun. But so basically, so with our journaling workshop, so what are we calling the journaling workshop, Melissa?
I think we settled on the art of journaling, a path to inner alignment.
Yeah, I really like that because alignment can mean so much. And I think it's been a bit of a word so far this year, is authenticity. And I think alignment brings authenticity. And that's what I love. And I think it's a great start for the year, having the journaling workshop at the beginning of our year. And so we can really dive into what it is we want for the coming year. And so,
Intentions.
yeah, the intentions of it all. And I know someone was saying to me today that 2025 has been called 2020 Thrive, which I thought was a really
Love
good
it.
one. Yeah, so I thought, right, we could cone that because I think, we all deserve to thrive, don't we? And so, I think,
100%.
and there's no reason why we can't thrive within this world of ours because Mother Nature thrives no matter what's going on. And,
Absolutely.
I love the ostrich feather because today I was gifted a pigeon feather, which was really rather lovely. And so, yeah, it's really Mother Nature gives us what we need, doesn't she? So,
Absolutely. I've always said that she's, there's enough resources here for it's just ever replenishing, and there's
mm,
enough resources for everybody's need, just not everybody's greed.
that's right. Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is that what do we really need? We need shelter, we need sustenance, and we need others to communicate with and be with. And so, yeah.
A
So
little bit of
anyway,
heat sometimes. That's what's so great about the fire. I
yeah,
didn't used to be a cold person, but I've learned to love the cold actually lately in the last few years.
yeah, yeah. And I think experiencing all the things in life, the cold, the heat, and the heat, let's face it, a lot of people are afraid of a temperature. And as a natural health practitioner, of course, and I just said I encourage the rise in temperature like a fever. The fever is the body trying to burn something up and get rid of it. And yet
Yeah.
allopathic medicine um, tries to suppress it. I mean, of course, if your temperature goes up too high, you need to do something, but most of the time you just need to hydrate.
Yeah,
And
and relax so that your
yeah,
body can work its magic. Yeah, I
yeah,
was thinking of you the other night, in the spa actually, and Mark had cranked it up really high, and I was cooking, and I thought, I'm gonna do my ice bath thing, and I'm gonna just roll with it and just sit here for another sort of 5 minutes because I know how good this is gonna be for my
yeah,
body and all the, internal cellular level
yeah. The
goodness.
detoxification
Right.
pathways, it opens things up, cold and hot. Cold. I mean, there are so many naturopathic techniques that almost lost. There's been a few people keeping them alive, and I've been very fortunate to have teachers that do that. But also, um, the art of journaling is becoming really, really popular, isn't it? And I think there's a reason for that. And so we're going to be diving into and Melissa's going to be diving into this, and we're in our workshop. So basically, I can't wait. So is there anything you want to share about what's going to happen in your workshop, Melissa? What you want to really, or are you just going to wait and see? Just right, okay, guys, come to my workshop.
Ta-da!
This is the
Look,
magic.
yeah, I just really think it's come and discover how journaling can become your most powerful tool for self-reflection, alignment, and intentional living. In the workshop, we'll explore how the art of journaling complements frequency therapy and mindful nutrition and supports your journey towards a vibrant and thriving lifestyle. Whether you're really new to journaling or a seasoned writer, I think that there'll be definitely, even if it's just one little gold nugget that you can take out of the session that will inspire you to be connecting deeply with your inner self, set aligned intentions for the year coming, and so you can, really make the most of 2020 thrive. And really nurture your personal growth. The invitation was given to me a few years back that just to try it, just give it a go. I've said it before, I spent 40 years plus looking after everyone else. My Marta mantra was, I'm happy as long as everyone else is happy. And we're so service souls really are the people that we're speaking to in this food and frequency network. And we're so good at putting other people's first because it really does make us happy, but it's not sustainable. And so when we learn to come within and we learn to connect to our channel, then it becomes an overflow of energy. And so we're always vibrant, and we've always, we can carve out that little spot, and really most importantly, it's such a brilliant example for those people around you. It took me 6 months or so to not feel icky about, there were people, oh, isn't that quite selfish of you doing that for yourself? And at the time, maybe I was just like, okay, I'm going to lean in and I'm going to bend it and I'm going to push through the edges and see if it breaks. But it still hasn't. Years later, it just inspires other people to do the thing. And
Yeah.
so it's, I've always had the saying ripples from within. And so yeah, just come along and look for the gold nugget, and it might encourage you and remind you and re-inspire you about how important it is. And even if you commit to 5 minutes a day, then you just never know what will come from it.
No, you don't. And it's soul food, isn't it, really? It's feeding the soul. And so consequently, there's a huge magic in that. And so if you're watching this and you're not a member of Food and Frequencies Network, I would encourage you, because this is just the first workshop of the year. And we have lots of juicy things going on this year. And so thank you, Melissa, for your time. And I'm really looking forward to this workshop. I'm going to make sure my pen, I'm going to have a nice pen and journal and have my candle by the computer, and we're going to get this going. So thanks, Melissa, for your time today, and see you on the 20th. And
Absolute pleasure. Thank you, Karen.
if you're watching, don't forget 20th, Monday, 7:30. See you there. Bye for now.
See you then.